seeing this book and thinking, you're coming home with me. And you know what? She did come home with me. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to today's very exciting video. This is a reading vlog. I've done one like this previously on my channel. I believe it was in January, maybe it was February. Either way, semantics. And that is reading the prettiest books on my physical TBR. And I think I've decided that there is a certain level of qualifications that these books need to meet. For starters, have to have a pretty cover. Have to have actually no, maybe a sprayed edge is optional, but it obviously gives it bonus points and an advantage to be picked when making these videos. Third, and probably my all-time favorite qualification for whether or not a book is beautiful, is a naked hardcover, because that is where the art is, that is where the color is, that is where, especially with hardcovers, that a lot of detail goes into, and when I take off the dust jacket to read it on the go, that is the art that I'm seeing and I'm picking up every day. And then finally, this one's like a sprinkle on top, but end papers. Pretty end papers are also really nice. I don't know if anybody else does this, but when you're reading through the book and then you finally get to one of the end paper images, you're like, oh, and now I know what that's about. So with all that being said, I have picked my first book for today's video, and I believe it meets all of the criteria I just listed. And that book is Wicked Sea by Jordan Stephanie Gray. For starters, the cover is beautiful. I had absolutely no concept of this book. I had no idea anything about this book or that it was coming out or anything about this author prior to walking into the bookstore, seeing this book and thinking, you're coming home with me. And you know what? She did come home with me. Like, look at it. It is absolutely stunning. I love the artwork. I love the font. I think it's like there's a mermaid tail. I don't know how well you can see that, but it just grabbed my attention so much. And we all judge books by their cover. And this one was judged correctly, and it came home with me. Now, moving on to the next criteria, sprayed edge. It's not like an intricate design by any means, but it is holographic, which means it will shoot rainbows around your room. So that's pretty fun, and I rather enjoy it. And then third qualification, let me just show you. This is the naked hardcover. We have a city of sorts, the sea, which wraps around and goes to the other side. We have a pirate ship, and then the sky is just, it's just beautiful. It's just, I love when they do details like this. My least favorite is when I pick up a hardcover and I take off the dust jacket and it's black, or it's black with like the most dinky little design. I'm like, that's kind of boring. I personally think that it's kind of boring. And then for the end papers, we have this artwork here and this artwork here. Like, come on. You're telling me you don't pick up this book, see all of these qualifications, and don't think that it's one of the prettiest books that you've ever seen in your life and that it needs to come home with you? I think not. I'm going to sit down and read some of this, and I don't know anything about it. Like I said, the cover spoke to me, and somehow it was in the car on the way home with me. And I'm going to come back with my initial thoughts and a little bit of what this book is about. back with my initial thoughts on The Wicked Sea. I am about 90 pages in, I believe. I just finished part one and going into part two, and so far, I'm really enjoying it. I haven't read a fantasy book in a bit, so I kind of had to remember that fantasies, especially the first book in a fantasy, which I don't actually know if this is a series or not, or if this is a standalone, but they take some time to kind of set up the world. If there's a magic system, to set up the magic system. And I did have to kind of wait it out and see, kind of figure out everything that was happening in this world. And so far, we're following Zephyra. I think that's how you say her name. And she is a Marrow, which in this world is just a mermaid. And then you're also following Arian, who is a warlock and works for the king and the kingdom, basically. And they live in a society that hunts and hates marrows. If you're a marrow, you're basically killed on sight, and they relish in the death of marrows. And Sephira is in hiding. She is doing what she can to survive. She is running from a past that you don't really know fully what's happening quite yet, but as you read more, you're picking up more pieces, you're getting to know her and kind of what's happening. And basically, you find out that Arian, the warlock, is dying. He uses magic to live, but basically, his magic is killing him the more he uses it. But if he doesn't use it, it's still killing him. And so he's doing whatever he can to possibly survive. And he finds this little nugget of information about something that he's looking for that could literally save his life from Zephyra. But he hates that he's relying on a marrow to possibly survive, because she could be lying to him about it. And that's kind of the gist of what part one is. There's a lot of other stuff that happens, obviously, but I'm not going to tell you everything because I want you to read it. But I am really enjoying it. They have really good banter. It's Yeah, it's really good. It has like a heavy tone to it, especially for Zephyra, especially because the fact that she's being hunted in her whole life, everybody hates her, and nobody is willing to kind of see that, yes, maybe Marrows have done stuff in the past, but also humans have as well, but they're not even attempting to kind of see both sides of it. They're only being hateful towards one side. And I am really liking it. I'm interested to see where it goes and what happens, but from right now, I am really enjoying it. It's very fast paced. Like everything that I said just now and more just happened in 90 pages. And I can sit down for long periods of time and just literally get sucked into this book. It is that good. And so far, like I said, I'm really enjoying it. I don't really have too much to say other than that. So I guess I will see you guys the next time I'm reading, or when I have a little bit more to say. Hi guys, I'm back and I have officially finished Wicked Sea, and I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I was in the mood for a fantasy, and I am so glad that I picked this up. I ended up rating this a 4-star. I really enjoyed this. I really loved the setting of this book and the sea element to it. You're following Zephyrah and Arian, and they kind of have this reluctant allies kind of
banter sort of thing going on, which really reminded me of Hollow by the Twisted Sisters that I read in February. And I really loved it. It was so fast paced. The setting was fantastic. And like, I never knew fully what was going on. Every single part that I finished left me with, like, what? Like, that's how I felt. And I just had to keep going. I just had to keep reading. And it was just so easy to digest. This is not a book that should intimidate you. It has a very easy, if not very minor, magic system that you need to learn. And it's just so easy to dig your teeth into. It was just so fast paced, and the characters were great. The banter was great. And the tension between our two female main characters was just on point. If you're worried about the spice of the romance happening in like the first 50%, don't. If you're worried about it happening in the first 80%, don't. This book really drags it on, and I'm glad that it did because it happened like in the best way possible. I do wish that there was a little bit more emotional depth between the characters. I think the characters did see a lot of their own struggles and experiences in each other, which was really nice. I just think that we needed maybe just a little bit more to that. The ending of this book truly, and I think partly it was because that I thought everything was going to be wrapped up in a neat little bow, that the ending hit as hard as it did. I had some guesses. I'm not going to lie. I had some guesses, some theories as to what was happening. I wasn't even close. Immediately upon finishing this book, went and Googled when the next book is coming out, and it's not coming out until 2027.
What?
I guess I'm just gonna have to suck it up and wait because I definitely will be continuing this series. I really, really liked it, and I really would recommend it, especially for kind of like an entrance or dipping your toes into fantasy. This definitely is a romantasy, but it's not a high fantasy. It's not too, well, like I said, difficult to understand. And I definitely, definitely would recommend this book. So, book one of this video was a 4 star. I've actually already started book two of this video, and it is Traitor Queen by Danielle L. Jensen. This is the second book in the Bridge Kingdom. See, I don't know if it's actually called the Bridge Kingdom series, but this is the second book in the first duology of that series, the sequel to the first book, which is The Bridge Kingdom. Because this is the second book, I can't tell you too much because obviously that would spoil it, but basically, in the first book, you're following. What is your name? Laura? In the first book, you're following Laura and Aaron. Laura is trained to be a spy to basically, when the time comes for her to be shipped off to another kingdom and marry Aaron, she will be the spy to take down the bridge that provides basically the most resources and riches, and whoever controls the bridge has the most power between all of the kingdoms. And Laura's father really wants to take down Aaron's kingdom. So Laura is raised to be the spy and be the one to destroy his empire. That's kind of where the story starts. It jumps right in off the bat. It's really fast paced, and the ending of the first book wasn't my favorite, but I knew that I wanted to continue the duology, and I am so glad that I did because this book right away significantly way better than the first one. But I'm just like eating this up so fast. I am reading it physically and listening to it on Audible because I believe the whole series is free to listen to on Audible, and I highly recommend it. I really am liking it. It's super fast paced, like I said, and this series also, similar to Wicked Sea, is very easy to digest. It's very easy to sink your teeth into. This is a fantasy without any magic. There's no magic. There is kingdoms, but there isn't a magic system that you need to learn, which I think is really different than a lot of the fantasies we see nowadays. So it's really refreshing to have something that isn't really magic oriented. And also, what I really, really love about these two books is how political it dives into because it doesn't have the magic element. I really love the strategy and the politics and everything that goes into the wars and the allies and your enemies. I'm just really liking it. I am about at the 50% mark right now, and I guess I can show you guys how it meets the qualifications. So, first off, we have a beautiful cover on the dust jacket. I really love the artwork that was done for this series. The sprayed edge that is matches the other one, but just in the tones of this cover. So instead of the kind of teal of book one, you have the dark blue of book two. And then my favorite, a naked hardcover. Like, come on. Come on. It goes all the way around. I really love how scenic they did these. And this isn't from a book box subscription or anything. Like, this is bookstore. And I think that that is awesome to be doing such great, high quality, beautiful books just at the bookstore instead of having to pay for a subscription to get access to them. And I think one of the qualifications I said was also end papers. Not as pretty as Wicked Sea, but still, I think everything else makes up for it. I'm going to get back to reading this, and I will come back to you guys when I have a little bit more to say. Hi everyone, I have finished Traitor Queen by Danielle L. Jensen. I sat down and I binged the rest of this book. I just read it. It is truly so fast paced, and I just sat there and I binged the last, like, I don't even know how many pages it was, maybe like 100 pages in one sitting. It is really just that good. And my final rating for this book is going to be, I think, a 4.5. I am truly so pleasantly surprised with how much I loved this book. Reading it and listening to it really helped me stay in the world and stay with the story and the characters. And I really loved it a lot more than book one. The ending did not disappoint. The whole plot following and picking up right at the end of book one in the duology to now concluding in this duology, it really did feel like Aaron and Laura's story was wrapped up and it was concluded very well. I really loved the plot. I loved the characters. I really especially loved the tension between Laura and Aaron. It truly dragged on, but it did not feel like it was dragged on because if it hadn't happened at the right moment for the tension to break, it would have ruined the whole book. And there was just so much buildup between the two of them. So much had happened and they had to get through so much. And there were very genuine obstacles for the two of them to get over. It was at the end of book one very difficult for them to be together. And then with everything happening in book two, there was just so much fighting against them and so much forced proximity. And it was so good. I really loved Laura. I really loved Aaron. I really just loved everybody. I think a 4.5 is what I'm going to settle on. I do think that this duology is worth it purely for this book. I think Bridge Kingdom is good. I think this is great. I really love this. I think that you should pick it up. I might continue the series on audio because I haven't picked them up physically yet. And maybe that will be in another series.
in another video. I'm not too sure yet. I might just do that on my own time because now I can just listen to them now that I've discovered that they're free on Audible. I just want to point out this is the second reading the prettiest books I own video that I've done, and it's warranted pretty good results. We have a 4.5 star and a 4-star for Wicked Sea, which I also really loved, and I highly recommend both of these books. And I'm really excited to continue reading more pretty books if it keeps getting great results. And if anything, this video goes to show is that judging books by their covers is the thing to do. So I'm gonna keep doing it. I think you guys should keep doing it. I think you guys should pick up these books. And with all that being said, thank you for joining me for today's video. I really hope you guys liked it. I hope you guys pick up these books. I hope you guys start these series or finish these series or just add them to your TBR or mental TBR. Thank you so much. I will put my Instagram up on the screen if you want to follow me. With all that being said, I hope your next read is a 5-star, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!